In this video, I will be breaking down real-life CQB tactics on the Fireteam level using door kickers too. Some of the terminology and procedures portrayed may be different than what you know. What you're about to see is a series of Doctrine designed for my hardcore Arma 3 community, Task Force Trauma. Join us from the link in the description below. If you do not own Arma 3, we also play Ready or Not, Squad, Tarkov, and other games as well. If you're a chill, disciplined dude, come hang out with us. This video is unscripted, being rather raw. Some folks prefer scripted videos, others do not. Let me know in the comments which style you'd rather watch, and of course, feel free to pick my brain about tactical knowledge. Before we get into this, I just want to mention that if you plan on incorporating any type of strategic tactical information with your players and friends, it requires an intense amount of training, something that Task Force Trauma provides. The first thing that we'll talk about is my Fireteam structure. Task Force Trauma's Fireteams feature 4 men, a Fireteam leader, a rifleman, a grenadier, and an auto rifleman. The Fireteam leader is always the most experienced individual on the Fireteam. Generally, the Fireteam leader will put himself in the most stressful situations since he is most qualified to handle them. The Fireteam can be broken down into 2 buddy teams called Alpha and Bravo. Alpha is generally the Fireteam leader and the grenadier, while Bravo is led by the rifleman, the second in command of the Fireteam, and the auto rifleman. When it comes down to loadout, the door kickers loadouts that you guys see on screen here are not a one-to-one representation of what we take in Arma 3. Task Force Trauma has a very wide range of equipment which depends on faction, narrative, and mission. The themes of these loadouts are rather similar though. For example, the Fireteam leader and rifleman will be equipped with precision optics. Their kits are often the lightest in the Fireteam, which allows them to carry extra equipment such as wire cutters, explosives, light anti-tank, etc. The Grenadier is tactical support for the Fireteam, carrying 40mm high explosive, smoke rounds of different colors used to block the line of sight of hostile forces and mark enemy targets, along with other types of equipment depending on faction, such as the Hunt IR 40mm drone device. To represent the smoke rounds, I double stack the Grenadier with smoke grenades since I am unaware if the Grenadier actually has smoke rounds that you can employ in-game. The auto rifleman will generally be carrying the most amount of equipment, namely ammunition. He will often be light on hand grenades, trying to make room for more ammo. You'll notice that for the optics, I gave my auto rifleman and grenadier EOTechs. In the context of Arma 3 in real life, this is often to try to reduce the amount of weight these guys are carrying so they can carry more specialized equipment respective to their roles. Now that we have the basics of our Fireteam broken down, let's go ahead and hop into a mission. The first thing we are going to do is deploy our Fireteam and pair them with their buddy teams, being the Fireteam leader out front commanding the team with his battle buddy, the grenadier, watching his back. Then we'll have the auto rifleman and rifleman right over here, this being Alpha team, this being Bravo team. In this mission in particular, you'll see that we have a couple bad guys out here, and we have these civilian cars laid out like the Fireteam drove in on them, disembarked, and begin shooting these guys. In the context of real life in Arma 3, this would be basically impossible to pull off because the hostiles would just see their equipment and just fucking kill them before they're able to get here. So using a little bit of imagination, imagine that the rest of our squad is out in this direction and or this direction, breaching and clearing their objectives. Our Fireteam is tasked with clearing this compound. These sentries right here are going to get tagged real quick, just pretend that they never existed. As for the cars, imagine these as civilian wrecks that our players can use as cover. The Fireteam leader is going to fall back and get a good line of sight on the compound as he begins constructing his plan. The Grenadier is actually in a pretty good position where he is right now as he covers this lane, protecting his team. The rifleman is going to move back here, using the corner of this car for a little bit of concealment, watching this direction to make sure that the Fireteam is not getting flanked. Then the auto rifleman sees a doorway right here, so he's going to employ his weapon system to cover this entry point. What you just witnessed is the auto rifleman doing his job within a CQB environment. The auto rifleman should always be watching the rear of the formation and lethally covering choke points like this doorway. The reason why is your auto rifleman will always be the heaviest member of your team. It'll be extremely difficult for him to maneuver his equipment in a CQB environment. Also, since he has the most casualty-producing weapon system in the Fireteam, it is important to put him in the most vulnerable positions, such as the rear of the formation or covering choke points like this doorway right here, so he can use that extra firepower to pin the enemy and force them to move into different areas. So while the rest of our Fireteam maneuvers into position and begins making preparations to make entry, our auto rifleman is holding down angles so that our team is able to move. With that said, our team is going to begin stacking. The Fireteam leader will order Alpha to stack. If able, always stack with 1 man on each side of the doorway. The goal is to clear as much from the entry point as possible before making entry. The Bravo team will continue pulling security while Alpha team gets in position. Now that Alpha team is set, Bravo is going to stack. Have the auto rifleman watching that rear, and the rifleman watching this direction here just in case this is like a gate where hostiles can maneuver through. You'll notice that we don't have anybody watching in this direction. As I mentioned earlier, it is extremely likely that the rest of our squad is breaching and clearing other areas, or we came from this direction and everything over here is already cleared. On top of that, we could end up having a friendly vehicle covering this lane for us, providing security downrange in this direction, etc. On top of that, we could have quadcopter drones protecting our team, relaying information on hostile movements. Because of this technological advantage, the enemy will most likely try to get us close. They will not be moving out windows and doors trying to make flanks on us because they can just get hit by Hellfire missiles. So with that said, they're preparing a firm defense within the interiors of buildings, likely using civilians or our rules of engagement against us. The fireteam leader is currently looking at a wall. It is impossible for hostile forces to be in this area. If you see a cleared wall, you peek and hold the front of the doorway. Now that we have cleared everything that we can from the entry point, this is where we will prepare entry. From our fireteam's position, dead space is to the left of the doorway. Dead space is an area that we have not cleared with a gun, meaning if you do not clear the space, you are dead. We now are able to maximize our firepower on the dead space of the room since the left and front is clear. The rear men pulling security will free look over their shoulders to make sure that they are as close to their teammates as possible, making entry much easier. Whoever is commanding the breach will then announce an order, either custom orders such as Rifleman, Hook, Auto Rifleman, Cross. Ideally, we will use Task Force Trauma's standard breaching procedures, which are detailed drills on how to breach certain room types like the left fed, right fed, center fed, and hallway type rooms. There are two ways to activate entry after orders have been given, by using communication such as breaching in 3, 2, 1, or using a throwable device like a flash or fragmentation grenade where the explosion is the activation call for our entry. An example of these orders would be Fireteam, left fed, breach on frag, Rifleman, toss it. So the Rifleman pulling security will briefly break his security and throw a fragmentation grenade in whatever direction the FTL desires. Since the Rifleman heard that this was going to be a left fed breach, he knows that he is going to throw his grenade to the left of this area.
Frag out!
We wait for detonation so we do not get hit by fragmentation.
Watch out!
In a left-fed breach, the point men, being the men stacked on the doorway, will move along the cleared wall. One of Task Force Trauma's most important CQB rules is if you are moving along the same wall as a friendly, the first man to enter goes to the corner of the room while the second man stops midway. This prevents friendly fire, bumping into each other, and forces the enemy to extend their cone of fire across the room, making them less accurate, lowering their chances to score a casualty on our men. Our rear men will then move down whatever wall feeds into the room. A simple rule to keep in mind when it comes to left and right fed breaches is whoever peeks front moves first. The reason being, this individual is closer to the doorway. With that said, the fireteam leader is going to be the first man to enter, the point men prioritizing their fire on the dead space corner.
Got him!
And just like that, this area has been cleared. Task Force Trauma members will notice that we followed our left fed breach perfectly. I will be making videos breaking down our standard breaching procedures, basic rules, etc. in the future. Due to our team being spread out, Bravo team is now able to take point by breaching this room. Since the Rifleman is closer to the door, he is going to pie and stack on the opposite side of the door, making space for his battle buddy. This is just a more natural way to stack and gets the job done faster.
Clear!
The fireteam leader will likely be giving commands such as Bravo, continue breaching, Alpha's got you covered. In case we do have a threat of being flanked, have whatever man who is not currently doing something extremely important watching that rear. For example, Bravo team is going to be clearing this area and doesn't necessarily need our Grenadier watching this window. So to make himself useful, he's going to push himself over here using the vehicle as cover, most likely proning so he won't get shot from this direction while the fireteam leader has him covered with his muzzle. Remember the left and right fed tip that I just mentioned. Whoever sees wall peeks front. Whoever peeks front moves first. The Rifleman will shout out the order such as left fed, breaching in 3, 2, 1. Prioritizing their uncleared corner, following the basic rules of moving along the same wall like I mentioned earlier. At this point right here, the buddy team knows that this corner is clear. This man can focus on this entry point while this man focuses on this entry point. In the context of Arma 3 and real life, what you are seeing is an intense amount of training. We're talking dozens and dozens of hours and practice to make sure that the teams are effectively doing these things. In Arma 3, a lot of people think, oh, I'll just get my experience by playing my community's missions. That is not the case. Training on a flat range is the most important way of how to understand these tactics thoroughly. If you are operating at 100% efficiency on a flat range, which 99% of Arma communities will not do, Task Force Trauma is held to an extreme standard. We are probably the best tactical realism community in Arma 3 history. If you are operating at 100% efficiency in a flat range, in combat, you will be reduced to at least 50% due to stress, different types of terrain, casualties, etc. If you take a look at this room right here, we can assume that it's a bathroom, and a relatively small one at that. One of the most dangerous things that you can do in CQB is stuff too many men in too small of a space. So this rifleman will simply order, "Auto, cover my 6, I'm going to single man this room." He will then conduct the sweep. From here, the rifleman will shout out, "Room clear," and collapse onto his auto rifleman. These guys can break down and maneuver into the compound. Assuming that this fire team is well-rounded, we will continue with the natural flow by having the auto rifleman take point. The steps of close quarters battle is stack, plan, execute. And since Alpha Team is now part of the breach, the last man will shout out, "Last man, last man, last man," making sure that the rest of the team is ready to go. You'll see that the fire team leader is in a pretty dang risky position, holding the front of the doorway. Usually, the rifleman, he's going to see a wall and peek and hold front, just like the rules that I've mentioned earlier. But since the fire team leader doesn't have a specific job right now, he can fill in this gap and make the breach go a little bit faster. The rifleman's going to shout, "Left fed, breaching in 3, 2, 1. Since he is supposed to be sort of in the doorway watching the front, he of course is going to be the first man to enter. Now you notice the Alpha Team is now closest to the doorway. These dudes are going to continue maneuvering, and because of TFT Doctrine, now the fire team is back in the formation that they are supposed to be in. Auto rifleman at the rear, fire team leader at the front. Now this stack is rather sloppy because of this piece of furniture blocking our ability to stack. It is ideal that we have one man stacked on one side of the doorway, the other man on the other side, but terrain and critical thinking will always take priority. This room is going to be a little difficult to breach because we have dead space in this corner right here, being a left-fed breach from our fire team's position, and we also have dead space to the front right here. If my fire team leader enters watching this doorway, and the grenadier watching this dead space, the moment he enters, he's going to get hit from this side. So what we're going to do before making entry is employ our fire team's weapon systems. The fire team leader is going to back up, and he's going to order the grenadier to pop a 40mm HE round into this room. In modern combat, most of your opponents are going to be wearing body armor. If you frag a room, 99.9% of the time, the hostiles inside that room are going to survive. Always use your muzzle to clear every inch of dead space the enemy could be hiding in.
GL out! Clear!
And just like that, the fire team leader will then take point, clearing this side of the room. Naturally, the grenadier is a little bit closer to this doorway, but in Arma 3, there is a lot of keybinds that you have to worry about in order to switch back to certain weapon systems. While this grenadier is likely pushing his keys to flip through his weapon systems to get back to his rifle, that is distracting him from the breach. So the fire team leader is going to take advantage of this opportunity and squeeze past him. At this point, this corner is clear, so then Alpha Team changes focus to the front of the doorway, and you'll notice how important that is.
Tango down!
This right here is exactly why it is so important to stack on both sides of the doorway. At this point, our FTL is reloading, and this is a very dangerous position to be in, since he cannot back up into this corner to take cover due to furniture blocking his movement.
Clear!
His weapon's back up, and he gets back in position. At this point, the point men communicate exactly what they are looking at, as Doctrine suggests. Task Force Trauma's communication doctrine is announce everything you see, do, and hear. The fire team leader shouts out, "Dead space, room left." The grenadier shouts out, "Dead space right, wall." The rifleman would shout out, "Door front." The fire team leader is going to practice a custom order. For this room in particular, a center-fed standard breaching procedure should be ordered, such as Alpha, center-fed, Bravo, move across the room and breach the door front. Do you understand? And then this is where the team will ask any questions they need, or if they understand the order, they'll just shout out, "Got it, good to go, A-firm," etc. Breaching in 3, 2, 1. The fire team leader is going to be entering first because in a center-fed breach, the man on door hinge moves first. The moment this guy sees that his corner is clear, he focuses on this door and stacks. Because of this table, our auto rifleman is unable to stack on this side. The auto rifleman will continue watching that 6, but since the grenadier doesn't want to get accidentally shot in the face, he might push forward and stand about right here. Now, if he does that, he's going to be exposed to the front of this doorway, which a hostile could have moved from this corner over here, and the team is unable to see that. The rifleman sees that there's dead space in this corner and this corner, so he shouts out, "Bravo, center fed," breaching in 3, 2, 1. In a center fed breach, ideally, we have one man here and one man here. The man on door hinge enters first, and everybody crosses their respective sides. The men oscillate. One man goes this way, one man goes that way. The concept of the center fed will not change. Because the stack is a little different, the rifleman may need to help out his battle buddy. So for example, instead of calling a center fed breach, he may need to give custom orders, such as, "I'm crossing, auto, you hook," breaching in 3, 2, 1. Room clear, Bravo falling out. Fire team leader is going to shout out, "Left fed," breaching in 3, 2, 1. Alpha sees that their corner is clear, so they'll then diverge attention back to the door. Alpha will then prepare their stack. As Bravo hooks, the rifleman is going to conduct a relatively complex move, such as pieing this door and stacking on the other side. This is a pretty dang risky move because he is covering this side, the front, and this side of the room. The rifleman single-handedly cleared the majority of the room in this instance. At this point, 99% of this room has been cleared except this corner. Remember the rules. Whoever sees wall, peeks front. Whoever peeks front, moves first. The rifleman shouts out, "Right fed," breaching in 3, 2, 1. The fire team leader is currently waiting for Bravo to clear this room because they don't want to open this door and have their friendlies get shot from this side. Bravo team announces, "Room clear." The man on door handle opens the door.
Wilco.
In Arma 3, of course, we would have to continue breaching that room, and once that room is cleared, our fire team's objective is completed. We then fall out, regroup with our squad, and prepare for upcoming orders.
Throwing frag. Tango down. Clear. Got one. GL out. No tangos. Got one. Changing back. No tangos.
If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. I appreciate you guys watching, and let me know if you enjoyed this type of content. I love teaching people about cool shit like this, so if you enjoyed this video, please consider giving a like, comment, and subscription. I think every single American should be practicing our Second Amendment rights along with receiving basic combat education like what we have been talking about today. You are the deterrent of a future tyrannical government or a hostile nation invading the United States. Do not be a victim. See you guys next time.